You done messed up, Aaron.
Oh, he did. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. Hope you're having a great day. A lot to get into. Cannot freaking wait. Hopefully you had a great weekend. If you're listening to this on a Monday, if it's on a Tuesday, it's like, hope you had a good Monday. Anyway, a lot to get into today's show. Hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. Also, don't forget today's show is presented to you by Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. In fact, Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. I was just looking at it. My buddy from over at Bet Online, Jimmy, sent me this. He said Travis Hunter went from 25-1 to 12-1 for the Heisman as of this morning. That's what it went to. You know how that stuff works. That changes. So you need to check out Bet Online and get in on some of that action. If you think you know your stuff, you also need to get in on Bet Online's $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every single week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. Now, when the games are all over, you need to head on over to their online casino, get in on the game of blackjack or poker, or you could unwind with one of their over 150 slot games. It's Bet Online. You need to go to betonline.ag today to get in on that action. Bet Online, the game starts here. I kind of screwed that up near the end. Otherwise, phenomenal. Phenomenal. I had a great weekend. It was fun. It was weird because we had a lot of rain on Saturday night into Sunday. It basically oversaturated the baseball field, so my son and all the other games for Northern Lights here in the northern part of the metro area, all the games were canceled due to oversaturated fields, which sucked. And it also the games would have been at like, say, 50 degrees. They could have toughed through it. The kids probably would have been fine, but wet, soggy fields isn't a good thing. But part of the reason I bring that up is on Friday night, they had practice and the coach is like, hey, half the team didn't show up. Any dads, here want to come out and help field? And I'm like, shoot, yeah. So my buddy Brandon and I went out there. Coach had some extra gloves, went out there in the field. I shagged some balls. It was fun. That's what it is, right? Shagging balls? Is that when you catch? I'm stupid when it comes to baseball. I'm stupid when it comes to a lot of things. But I was out there and I'm like, Coach, where do you want me? He's all, just take center field. Brandon took right field. And then Coach kind of hung out in left field. Let's be honest. I was covering center and left. But anyway, I haven't been that nervous in a long freaking time. Anytime a ball came out to me, I was like, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. And they got a couple kids that can just rip the ball. And this kid, Johnny, comes up and I'm like, shit, I got to get back. I caught a couple of those. Okay. When I was in the outfield, I did fine. I was running them down and caught the ball. I was nervous though every single time, and I'm like, don't drop it, and don't get hit in the face. Those are basically my two things. Actually, though, there are several things going through my mind. One, don't run and fall. Two, don't drop the ball. And three, don't get hit in the face. And I think I did pretty good in the outfield, right? And then throw it accurately back to who I needed to. Yeah, I was trying to stay locked in, trying to be a good example for the kids, right? Paying attention, kept my legs moving. I didn't just sit there and like look around, be like, "Ooh, a plane's flying by. I wonder what kind it is." So I did that, right, and I was doing pretty decent. Okay, I'm not gonna make anybody go put out their cigarette and go, "My God, get him onto the Rockies roster. That's gonna turn the franchise around." Nobody was doing that. No. So then It got to the near the end of practice, and they're playing a last man standing type of drill, and the kids had a blast, by the way. It was a really good, fun practice, and basically, the kids hit it. If it makes it to the grass, they stay in. If it lands in the dirt and the infield grabs it, um, you know, or if you catch it, if I run it down in the outfield and catch it, they're out type of thing. So I'm kind of in between. I'm right on the edge of the infield, and I'm kind of playing infield slash outfield. And I swear to fucking God, 3, maybe 4 times, I dropped the easiest freaking pop flies there could have ever been. I was doing fine in the outfield. You stick me in the infield, it's like I'm defecating on second base. I don't understand what happened. I'm looking over at my buddy Brandon, who's now switched over to first base, and he's freaking rocking the glove. He's doing great. Looking over at the coach who has a fucked up meniscus, and he's doing great. And then there's me going, yes, I have my share of jacked up hip, screwed up knee. Then I'm like, technically, I was feeling fine at the moment. There's no reason for me to drop it other than the fact that I have no skills. So, like, one of the kids like comes over and he's like, "Do you want to switch?" I'm like, "No," because he got out, so that means he had to help play in the outfield. And I'm like, "No, God, jeez, I think I got this." And then he kind of was just like shadowing me and whatever. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I showed them how to fail, and you know what? They did good. They did a great job. I ended up switching around so they could get more practice on that stuff like that. But I was so disappointed with myself and my son to just rub my nose into my failures. He gets up to the plate and he points at me but he's pointing over my head because I'm basically right behind second base at the time, and he points over me, and I'm like, "Oh no, you did it!" What does he do? He freaking rips one of one of his best hits he's laid out there, and he just smokes it well over my head. I'm like, little shit. But you know what? If you're gonna do it, that's fine. It's good. It was a good confidence booster for him. Too bad the kids got, rained out, and I'm sure they'll reschedule it, but it was fun. Every kid had a smile on their face, and everybody was just, even when I screwed up, I think it made them feel better about themselves in a weird way. I'm building lives, okay, and building confidence. My failures are their success. You're welcome. Championship. It was cool. It was fun. But yeah, I love watching practice. My wife's just like, so how do you feel after this? I was like, I am sore. My body hurts. But then she brought up a good point. She's like, I get it. You you're gonna feel it, especially tomorrow, because of your jacked up knee and your jacked up hip. Uh, But man, there's gonna come a time where the kids aren't gonna want you guys to go out there and help out, so you might as well jump on it. Because the other parent, Nate, that was throwing pitches, like, he's all jacked up too. And he's like, he I guarantee you he was, like, icing everything when he got home too. So, it was fun, though. It was fun. You just don't know when those opportunities are gonna come about, and I hope that the kids appreciate and understand that it's just like, yeah, we fought through the pain just to be part of something cool like that. So, because you just don't know what tomorrow is gonna bring, and fuck, man, I'll deal with the pain if it means, seeing my kids smile and laugh and seeing his teammates crack up at me fucking up. They're a good group of kids. I really, really appreciate being around them, and I'm glad that my son's on that team because those kids are all fucking awesome. They're all awesome. So anyway, speaking of awesome, let's jump into some headlines.
Let's go! Let's go!
And now, here are the headlines.
A panda in China attacked a zookeeper. The villainous panda was named Ding Ding. That used to be my nickname in college, Ding Ding. I don't know why that name just sounds so funny to me. It's a different language, okay? I get it. Ding Ding. My nickname when I worked at Chipotle was Gato. And that's because when they tried to say Scott, it sounded like cat, and then we're just like, let's call him. Everybody's like, let's call him Gato. My brother came up with that one. But anyway, back to Ding Ding. Ding Ding, you little shit. Ding Ding got pissed off at a zookeeper that was trying to do whatever the fuck the zookeepers do with pandas. Listen, I get that pandas are, somewhat lethargic, for the most part, but it's still a wild animal. They're adorable as snot, but this one was just moody at the time, which I was watching something the other day, and this guy that's all about, exploring the world and dealing with wild animals and stuff. He was talking about how pandas are just moody assholes that are dumb as shit. So, Ding Ding, a moody asshole that's dumb as shit, attacks the zookeeper for no fucking reason for about 15 minutes. It was so adorable and frightening, all wrapped up into one. Like, it's funny too, because I'm watching the video and the zookeeper had a smile on her face part of the time. I'm like, is Ding Ding, are you getting tickled by Ding Ding? What the fuck? Oh, Ding Ding. Because I feel like at one moment, the zookeeper didn't know exactly what was going on. Like, she was just like, oh, shit, oh, you got me. Oh, fuck, no, those are real teeth. Those are real claws. Like, Ding Ding could have ripped her to pieces. Then all of a sudden, the zookeeper, wiggled out of there and got away. It's a wild animal. It's a bear. It can shred you if it wants to. Oddly enough, at a different zoo in China, this other particular zoo was caught painting Chow Chow dogs to look like pandas. This is the second zoo to do such a thing this year, and they got caught. It's like so fucking obvious when you look at the Chow Chow dogs painted as pandas, because it's like sitting there like panting. It's like a total fucking dog. The fuck, China? What are you guys doing in your zoos? I get that pandas are fucking adorable, but if you don't have a panda, don't pretend to have a panda. Right? Just put it on your wish list. I can't imagine somebody that works at the zoo be like, we need a good attraction. What should we do? I got a fucking Chow Chow dog. We could just paint it to look like a panda. That's a great idea, Todd. Let's do it. That's fucking phenomenal. Thanks, Bill. Like, that's just moronic. Here's the thing. When you look at them side by side, it's obvious that it's a fucking dog. Like, who thought that you're going to get away with it? It's like maybe if you had a snake that was similar looking to another snake, and you're like, this is the most venomous or most dangerous snake in the planet, and you're like, shh, psst, it's actually not. It looks like it, but it's not. But the majority of people wouldn't be able to tell unless you're a snake expert, right? But you don't have to be a fucking panda expert to understand that a dog painted to look like a panda isn't a panda. Stupid. And especially nowadays, everybody has a fucking camera in their pocket. Everybody does. Like, my wife's 90-some-year-old grandpa whose fingers hardly work because he's worked his ass off and he has like arthritis so bad, he has a fucking camera in his phone or in his pocket, right? Right. My goodness gracious. People, don't try to do dumb shit. A mouse was found in a passenger's meal in a flight. I want to say in Switzerland, somewhere around there, and it forced it to land. At first, I was just like, "What the fuck?" A little mouse makes a plane, turn around and do an emergency landing. They do that because the rodents could chew through electrical wiring and cause, significant dangers. So I guess the more I read up on that, the more that makes sense. And I believe rodents are attracted to the sweetness of the wire coverings on wires. So that's a thing. So that's where you got to watch out for in your garage if you find mice in your garage and you park your car in the garage, they can nest up in the engine area and start chewing on your wires. And then next thing you know, boom, no brakes. You're fucked. Anyway, this is what one of the passengers wrote. Believe it or not, a lady next to me opened her food and a mouse jumped out. That's horrifying. That's disgusting. Listen, airplane food's not that great. When I flew to Australia, that was probably the best. It was on Qantas, and it still was like microwave shit. Like I remember as a kid, microwave meals were fucking awesome. You got the turkey with the gravy, mashed potatoes, and cranberry sauce. Oh, you know what I would do? It took me a while to figure this out, but you mix the cranberry sauce with basically everything and it just changes up the meal. So freaking delicious. But that's essentially what you get when you go on an airline. Unless you get first class, I assume that you guys get some even better food. But us peasants in the back in economy, it's like microwave food and it's not that great. How do they not? How do they fuck that up? Don't you look? Did they microwave it? Was it a cold meal? Because if that thing was like heated up in like a little oven or a microwave, and that motherfucker was just like, "You tried to cook me from the inside out." Lucky that mouse didn't like, try crawling in that lady's eyeball and just like for revenge. That's that's disgusting. Ugh. I would never want to eat on an airplane after that. Even if it didn't happen to me, even if I was on that plane and saw it, I'd be like, nope, 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 nope. There's a lot of issues with how that ended up getting to the customer. They should have been able to find out before it reached the customer. Because I imagine, well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Did it have like a cardboard lid or was there transparent foil or, clingy wrap on top of it? I don't know. But either way, that's disgusting. I've never found, knock on wood, an animal or any living thing in my food. You hear about that all the time. There's people that found like little baby frogs in their spinach. I've from my own personal garden, I've found slugs every now and then when we had lettuce and stuff growing back there. Don't do that anymore. But I found it when I was cleaning it off. It's disgusting. Which, by the way, if you want to get rid of slugs in your garden, just put a cup of beer out there. They'll be drawn to it. Then they die inside the booze. They get liquored up. They go out happy. Okay, they're good. They're good. Puking their guts out in the garden. Anyway, we've all been there, right? Am I right? Am I right? So anyway, that pilot was forced to land in Copenhagen due to a policy that prohibits rodents on flights. Like I said, because they can chew through electrical wiring. That's disgusting. Now, speaking of food and gross things as you're trying to eat, I'm curious of how you would react to this because this popped up, and I'm like, mm, mm. Because there's a lot of grasshoppers around here right, this year. Eating grasshoppers can improve sleep, hair, and sexual function. Looking at those things, would you be somebody who was just like, okay, yeah, I'm down with it? A recent study from the University of Dashang in Cameroon explored the impact of ground grasshoppers on the health of rats, comparing them to those fed herring fish meal in a diet devoid of animal protein. The findings indicated that rats consuming the grasshopper diet experience remarkable health benefits. These rats exhibited um, an increase, yeah, it was twofold increase of in libido, improved sleep quality, and enhanced body weight and fur condition. The research underscores the nutritional value of edible grasshoppers, which are rich in essential amino acids, fiber, carbohydrates, energy, and vital minerals. Hmm. The grasshopper meal not only fulfills nutritional requirements, but also delivers significant health advantages such as increased libido, better sleep, and improved fur quality, with important implications for both animal and human diets. If that's the case, I mean, would you have a problem with that? I think at the end of the day, I wouldn't. I don't want to go hunt down grasshoppers. But man, it's funny that I'm reading this because last night I was doing something and I'm outside and I'm like, "Geez, that's a huge fucking grasshopper." There's grasshoppers all over the place. If that's something that can improve your life, I think don't you think that at the end of the day you could get over the fact that it's a fucking grasshopper? We eat like pork and, you know, cows and everything else. If you think about it from its original state, it's kind of gross. But at the at the final product, yeah, I'm fine with it. I eat the hell out of that meat, right? If it's all prepared and there's a way to make it seem desirable to consume, I'm all for it. Shove those motherfuckers in my mouth. That'd be great. Grasshoppers. Shit. It's not like I'm running around though outside chasing grasshoppers and just eating them. And then meanwhile I have like grasshopper legs like twitching on my teeth. That'd be gross. Hey, how's it going? Trying to flirt with somebody. It's like some twitchy leg on your mouth. Hi. Maybe we could go out sometime. That'd be great. I listen, it sounds gross, but I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. Um, I never got to ask him this personally because my dad passed away when I was 5. But hearing stories from my mom is he would go live off the land when he was in college. I believe up in well, one he lived he went to CSU for a little bit, but he finished up at Syracuse, and he did a lot of work with the national forest, especially up in the Syracuse area and Allegheny State Parks to be specific. And he would live off the land. I don't know if it was specifically in Allegheny or not, but he would live off the land for like a month or so, eating bugs, catching squirrels, or catching rabbits, and just living off the land. It kind of makes sense there as long as you know what you're supposed to eat. Who gives a shit if it's about survival? And in this case, it's about survival and enhancing your survival um, rewards. You're consuming something that's better for you. And if you stop and take a step back and go, we eat so much shit that's processed and nasty and just overall at the end of the day, probably killing us. eating grasshoppers, if it's gonna make you live longer and not just live longer, live better, fuck, man. Yeah, line them up. Line them up. Deep fry the fuck out of those things. Oh, I bet they'd be good. Mhm. Deep fry me some grasshopper. I'll be eating it. I'll be eating it. Would you eat it? I don't think it's that big of a deal. Put some salt and pepper on that shit. Oh, I bet it's good. Just stick it on a like a frying pan and crisp it up. I think you're good. I think they're too small for the grill unless you get a flat grill. Now I kind of want to eat it. I'll tell you what. You get a bunch of grasshoppers. I'll come over. We'll eat them. Okay? Make a video out of it. Gotta get some fucking hot sauce though, because there's a good chance it's gonna taste like shit. There's a good chance, man. You get some good hot sauce though. Ooh, ooh, I love hot sauce. I used to do that sponsorship with Burns and McCoy. They're pretty good hot sauce. There's so many good hot sauces. Murph's is really good. Murph's, what I like about Murph's, I can't remember where they're located, somewhere in Colorado, but they do a lot of sweet flavors and just a lot of just fancy flavors. And it really, I need to talk to Kelly. She's the owner, and she makes an amazing product. The whole company makes an amazing product, but I believe she's the brainchild. She's the chef and the one with the final decision. They make some really good hot sauce. If there's some really good hot sauce, you got to send it my way. I love hot sauce. There's so many good ones out there. I just can't get enough of them. In my family, we're all about hot sauce. So send me information. If you run a hot sauce company, let me know. DeHuffPodcast@gmail.com or hit me up on my socials at DeHuffPodcast. I love hot sauce. Can't get enough of it. And it bugs me though when you eat some hot sauce that it's like burn your butthole hot sauce. Not a fan of those. I want some spice. I want some heat, but I also want flavor. Don't be just all about like, this is going to make you cry for 7 days. I don't want that. Don't want that. Ate those before. Don't like it. One thing I do love is interacting with small business. I've been talking to a lot of great people. I've talked to, let's see, not Kara, Kira. I've talked to Matt. I've talked to several other small business owners from around the state of Colorado, and that's just recently. I love interacting with small business because you guys make this country run, and that's a great thing about this platform that I'm on with DeHuff Uncensored is I can help promote your small business and get the word out because a lot of times advertising is just like a big kick in the junk because you want to advertise but you can't advertise because you know big companies. Geez, I was looking at somebody was telling me something about TV advertising and how ridiculous that is. That stuff's nice if you can afford it, but not everybody can afford that. And a great way to do it is jump on to Huff Uncensored, and I can help you advertise. You can be a great sponsor with the show. And what I'm doing for small businesses right now is I'm cutting my rates in half from now until October 31st of 2024. If you and your small business commit to a 2-month trial, you could be a proud sponsor of the #1 comedy podcast in Colorado. Boo! And it's only going to cost you half, and that's great. So go ahead and shoot me an email to huffpodcast@gmail.com for more details. Your company's message is going to be projected to the world via all podcast audio platforms, plus video on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, Twitch. With over 20 years in Denver media, you know I'm not just another podcast. I'm in it for the long haul, and I know what I'm doing. Advertising budgets, they can be slim. I really get that. That's why I'm cutting you and your company a break. You're welcome. I know. You're welcome. Guess who's going to be on your Christmas card list? Moi. Moi. So half off sponsorship rates if you commit to a 2-month trial by October 31st, 2024. Just shoot me an email to huffpodcast@gmail.com and let's get things rolling. Hey, let's put this under the category of, yeah, no shit. you imagine you're reading something and you're like, oh, this category looks fun. Yeah, no shit. Doctors are worried about that combat sport. If you've seen it, it's called slap fighting. It's literally slap fighting where you just stand there uh, next to this podium, or you're on. There's a podium or just like tall table in between you, and you just have a. You can't flinch. You can't duck. You have to stay there. You're not even wearing headgear, and they your opponent slaps the fuck out of you. One slap per person, and it goes back and forth, right? Well, doctors are worried, no fucking duh, about this sport causing serious brain damage. Like I said, they're not wearing headgear. They're not ducking. They're not avoiding anything. It's a full on, I'm just waiting for impact. According to their analysis of 78 fights between 56 contestants and involving 333 slaps, this is what they said. More than half of the participants had visible signs of concussion. Many had signs of impaired movement following a hit or had a blank or vacant stare. Some were knocked down and some had trouble getting back up. It's listen, from a from a bystander, for somebody just visually just watching it, I'm like, this is fucking nuts. I can't get enough of it. Right? I'm watching it. I'm like, holy shit. That pops up on my feed, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. I watch it. Then I sit there and go, damn, what the fuck, though? Those guys are nuts, or those ladies are nuts. I would never do that. Never do it. Couldn't handle it. And like these doctors are saying, you realize what you're doing is you're letting somebody take a free shot at your fucking head, and you're going to scramble your brains. Somebody's going to die because of this. We talk about the NFL, we talk about all these other sports and CTE, getting brain injuries. These people are probably the worst. And no offense, you're the dumbest motherfuckers out there if you sign up to play this slap sport. Yeah, you might get some money. You might get some momentarily, fame on social media because you took a hit or you slapped the fuck out of somebody. You might get that. Guess what? You're fucking your life over for what? A slap fight. These guys aren't making that much money. And to be honest, even if they were making, say, $5 million to get the shit slapped out of them, is it really worth it? Because if you've ever met anybody that has CTE, it's not good. They can mood changes in a drop of a hat, snap of a finger. It's scary. Not worth it. Not worth it. But we're living in a day and age where people, they're aware of consequences. They understand there's enough information out there to gather that information of what the consequences of someone's actions could be, and playing a sport like this could be. But we're just so meh. Why not? We'll just look the other way. That just tells you how fucking dumb we are. We are so fucking dumb. My goodness. Um, by the way, I saw this. I'm like, I have to bring it up. It's so random. This comes from Facts of World spelled with a zero, on Twitter. It says, since odd numbers are harder for our brains to process, some people actually experience feelings of discomfort when the volume on the television, among other things, is set to an odd number. I can see that, unless it's divisible by 5. So meaning if it ends in a 5. So if it's like 15, I'm fine with it. 14's fine, 16's fine. 13, no. 11, no. Do you get that, or do you just turn it up? I used to be really bad at that. Now with kids, I just like whatever's a reasonable level. That's what it is. Be like, and you know how sometimes you're watching different channels and some are louder, or when they go to commercial, all of a sudden it's just really fucking loud or really quiet. Then the show comes back and it's a lot, the volume level is completely different. So I think I'm more tolerable to this now with kids because it's more about what's acceptable and not really caring about what the number is. But there was a point in time, especially my wife would get mad. She's like, "You can't have it. You have it on 22." I'm like, "So?" And then she, brought up, she's on, no, it would be like, say, 23 or something like that. And she'd get mad or irritated. She's like, "No, can you just put it up one or two or whatever like that?" Yeah. So I've been there. I think some people are worse off than me when it comes to that. I don't think it really drove me too absolutely nuts, but when my wife brought it up to me, then it started bugging me. But now I'm calmed back down, and I think my wife's calmed back down because again, it's more about what's acceptable. God, we're such a fucked up, uh, you know, not society. I don't even think that that's just us being human beings. We are so fucking easily just rattled, rattled. You know what we need to do right now is jump into the mailbag.
Mailbag. You've got mail.
This comes in from Damien. I'm sorry, real quick, Damien. Not to be a dick, but that movie fucked you up. As my computer crashed for a second. That movie, The Omen, fucked you up. I want to say that came out in like mid 70s, right around 75, 76, right? And it that the kid's name was like Damien Thorn, and it was like supposed to be like the Antichrist kid, whatever, right? He's like this little spawn of Satan type of thing. And that kind of ruined the name. I want to say most cultures, Damien is like a symbol of peace or a name that means peace. But then because of that fucking movie, especially, people are like, you're kind of the son of the devil. Sorry, that's the first thing. I it what pops in my head is from Wayne's World. He's like, okay, Damien, when he's like mad at Garth. Anyway, Damien, son of Satan, said, what a weekend for Colorado football. Buffs had the miracle at Folsom, and the Broncos beat the Buccaneers in Tampa. Great weekend. Yeah, you know what? That was great. And real quick, let's jump into some highlights. That miracle at Folsom it was pretty neat. And what was neat too is my son and I were actually watching it, and I was trying to get him to watch the game, and he was wanting to do other things. And I'm like, dude, because he wanted to be on a device or something. I was like, dude, you got to watch this. Just watch this. Trust me. I kind of gave him the backstory. I was like, if they make this play, they're gonna force overtime if they kick the extra point, and then who knows who wins. And I said, by the way, the Buffs going into this game, they weren't supposed to win. They weren't supposed to win because everybody's like, nah, they're not good enough. And guess what? They fought back and they're telling everybody, nah, we are good enough.
Shotgun snap, Shador rolls the pocket out to the left, looking downfield, setting his feet, rifles this one towards the end zone, and it just shy, or did he catch it? It was LaJonte Wester. He scooped it up. He scooped it off the turf. Holy cow, what a play. I can't believe my eyes. In the rain here in Boulder in the Front Range, the Buffaloes, with zeros on the clock, have made it a 31-30 ball game. Shador Sanders has done it again. Buff Nation, you've got to be going out of your mind pending the APAT.
That was pretty cool. And what's crazy is when you watch that replay, that was very close to being incomplete, because if he doesn't get his hands under that ball, it's incomplete because it touched the ground. And I want to say like a play or two before that, The wide receiver was wide open. It hit him right in the hands, and it bounced off his chest. And I'm like, oh man. Even if you catch that and somehow you're down at the 1, the Buffs still had an opportunity. So it was really cool how that played out. They did get the extra point. It's now overtime. And here's the boy. Here's everybody's guy. Here's the guy that's jumping up in the ranks for Heisman candidate. Oh, my God, this guy better win.
Boundary side right, they got 2 wide receivers. Nothing left. Handoff. Richardson again. And he fumbled the football into the end zone. And Colorado tried to pick it up and lost on the back of the end zone.
No, I think they're going to give him ground cause to fumble.
The Buffs are celebrating as if it's over. The officials are trying to figure out.
Rolling on the field is a fumble. It went outside, out of the back of the end zone. The previous plays on the further review.
They're going to take a look at this one. This is undeniable at this point. Here comes Luke Richardson with a final call.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. The ball game's over.
Buff Nation, go out of your mind. What a homecoming win on a rainy night here in Boulder. It's over in 1 overtime, 38-31. And Travis Hunter has done it again. I'll say it again. Give that man the Heisman. Holy cow, is he an impactful player.
Big thanks to Buffs Radio Network and Mark Johnson, obviously, on the call. I believe that was Rick Neuheisel doing his color commentary. Hey, guess what? You were wrong. There was no. He's like, oh, they're going to call the ground cause the fumble on that one. No. That was a clean fucking hit, and Travis Hunter just got his helmet right on the ball, popped that sucker out, and then the Buffs won. It was really cool moment, and you know what? They deserve the win. It shuts a lot of people up. The Buffs are now, 3-1? And you're still, even after that win, you still see people on social media going, that's going to be one of their last. Maybe they get one more win. Maybe. But you know what? It's very exciting right now to watch the CU Buffs. They're other than the Nebraska game, they've shown up to play, and we'll see what happens next week. But right now, they're looking good, and they're riding high, and we'll see. Now, speaking of a game that nobody thought they'd win, the Denver Broncos go into Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield-led Buccaneers. They've been looking good. They're going into this game. They were undefeated. The Denver Broncos, they were winless. So the Broncos really needed this win. And what happens? Bo Nix, he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. He's slightly improved, even though some people want to disagree with me. He's slightly improved from week 1 to week 2. Now this is week 3. What can he do?
Sutton wide left. Little Jordan Humphrey to the right. Play fake. Nix rolls to his right. Run it, Bo, to the 5. To the goal line. Touchdown, Denver.
Big thanks to Denver Broncos Radio Network on that one. Dave Logan with the call. And yes, Nix and company held their own. They won 26-7 over the Buccaneers. And listen, Nick still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass, but he's ran for multiple. And this game, he didn't have any turnovers. I believe Javonte Williams fumbled at one point, but that was it. Okay. Nix himself looked much better. He didn't light it up with a bunch of yards, but he was a lot more accurate, a lot more settled, especially the fact that he was on the road. That's good news. The run game was present. That hasn't been the fact. Now, he only had 70 yards, but Tyler Bidet, which, by the way, that's what he goes by. That's how you pronounce his name. Big thanks to Vic Lombardi and Altitude, 92.5 Altitude, for bringing that up to my attention. Tyler, I thought it was Batty, or I don't even know. I don't even know what I was saying before, but now it's Bidet. And that, the thing that squirts up your ass instead of toilet paper. That's his last name, Bidet. He ended up with, God, how many? I can't remember the exact, but he was averaging like 7 yards per carry. And it wasn't like he had 2 carries. He freaking rocked it. He did great. And that was the difference maker in my mind. That's what settled the nerves of Bo Nix. And it also kept the Buccaneer defense on their heels going, are they going to run or are they going to pass? Because both are threats. And that's why the Denver Broncos won. And oddly enough, when you look at the final score, 26-7, it wasn't even that close. The Broncos handled their business. The defense did great. The offensive line earned their fucking paychecks. They did. Now do it again. Got to do it again. It's frustrating when you see that when they go out there and they just, dominate, which they did. They did a great job. The offensive line did. And it's just like, can't you guys do that every week? I get it that sometimes you interact with players and you're like, or like, I always remember like Mark Schlereth would say there was like, he could, dominate so many people, but there was always like random guys that just had their number. Alfred Williams would say that. And I remember one time we were it might have been in Atlanta covering the Super Bowl. And I'm in a room, somebody's hotel room. It might have been Alfred's hotel room. It's Alfred Williams, Mike Pritchard, Mark Schlereth, and then Mike Evans, who's a radio guy, not the football player, and myself. So Mike Evans and I are the non-athletic people in there, but we're just letting Pritch, Alfred, and Schlereth just chit-chat about miscellaneous things. And I remember Alfred even saying, it wasn't like guys like these big name offensive linemen that had his number. It was always like these miscellaneous guys, but for whatever reason, they would get him. It's just like I could never do my moves against these individual guys. They just had me locked down. And Schlereth had the same perspective from an offensive line, side of things. And he said there's always these guys. Yeah, sure, you get these like Lawrence Taylor guys that he would have to go up against. Those no-brainers. But he said some of his the guys that would always give him the biggest fits sometimes were these just random dudes. And you're like, how the fuck is this happening? So, like, the reason I bring that up is, like, I look at the Broncos offensive line, and they had shit games the first 2 games, and then they seem to do much better against the Buccaneers in week 3. And it's like, it's not like those first 2 weeks everybody had that individual lined up across from them that just so happened to give them fits. It's just bizarre to me. At the end of the day, they're improving as a team. They got a victory, and they held their own, and they did fucking great. But now the Broncos head to New York to take on Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. That's not going to be an easy game, but it's a winnable game for the Denver Broncos as long as they all play like they played before. And it starts with the offensive line. Offensive line, do your shit and hold your own and keep Nix clean. Keep that pocket clean. If he decides to run it and dirty his own jersey, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah. And then the Broncos defense, you got to go after freaking Aaron Rodgers and make him regret coming out of, he didn't come out of retirement. He should have retired a long time ago. That's what I need to get that out there. Make him regret not retiring. So he's sitting there rattling around his brain on the sidelines, given that looks like he just smoked too much opium or whatever. It just came out of an opium tent. He has that. You've seen that look on Aaron Rodgers before. That's the look you want to see during the Bronco-Jets game on the sidelines of Aaron Rodgers going, where am I? What planet am I on right now? And you know there's going to be some voice in his head going,
You done messed up, Aaron.
yeah, because you done messed up, Aaron. Should have retired, bro. You could be smoking weed, wherever, on a farm. I don't know. Some weird guy's tent in the backyard. I don't know. But instead, you're going to get your ass whooped by the Denver Broncos. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. On the other side of the ball from you, Aaron, you got some guy that has a name that is similar to, getting water squirted up your ass, Mr. Tyler Bidet. Huh? That's the weird reality you're in. You're going to be fucking loopy as shit going, is this real life? Is this really happening? There's a guy that has a bidet? Huh? Yes. Yes, Aaron. But here's the thing. The Denver Broncos look good. They did. Do it again. That's my big thing. Do it again. The CU Buffs looked good. They fought that entire game. Do it again. That's my big thing. Broncos, Buffs, you looked good. You did. Think about why. The offensive line. God, man, I don't know how many years I've been saying this, and so many people will push back on you for it because they're fucking dumb as snot. You have to have a good fucking offensive line to have a good offense. If your quarterback is running for their lives, they can't do shit. If the offensive line isn't opening holes, the running back can't do shit unless it's a Barry Sanders. But guess what? There ain't any of those in the NFL anymore. And those were very dangerous. I shouldn't say those. Barry Sanders was very dangerous because there was so much running around. If he had a good fucking offensive line, it would have been different. But he didn't. But the thing is a good running back shouldn't have to run sideline to sideline. They need to be able to run north-south, right? They need to be cutting through that offensive line and having those big old holes. And the Broncos did it on Sunday. The CU Buffs did it on Saturday. Do it again. Protect your quarterback. Give them time. Let the running back do their things. But don't make them be running from sideline to sideline. They need to be running through that fucking hole that you just made. Anyway, so that was fun. It's exciting. But the big thing is, Buffs, Broncos, you did great. Offensive line for both squads, you did great. Do it again. Do it again, and I'll be happy. I'll be happy. I think Broncos country and Buffs Nation will be thankful if you do it again. Anyway, thanks so much for supporting the podcast. You guys are amazing. You know what I didn't play today, and I wish I would have? Oh, real quick. Things I didn't get to today are...
What a bitch.
Yes. I feel like that things are feeling better now that I played that.
What the fuck?
I know.
I didn't do fucking shit.
Right. And then finally.
Right, as always.
Woo! I feel so much better now that I played those sound bites. Things are looking good. Okay? Anyway, you guys have an amazing day. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you could, give it a nice review wherever you're listening to this or watching. Also, big thanks to Bet Online. Go check them out, betonline.ag. Don't forget to check out those Heisman, numbers. What are you going to bet on? Are you going to bet on it? I don't know. Listen, if Travis Hunter keeps playing well, you might want to jump on that now before those odds are like, yeah, dude, he's definitely going to fucking win. Okay? I don't know much about betting, but I know the more of a locked-in deal that he's going to win, the less winnings are going to come back your way. So jump on it now while the iron's hot, because right now he keeps playing this way, he's going to fucking win. There ain't no fucking doubt he's going to win because he's fucking nails. He is fucking money. Thank you guys so much for joining the show. Really appreciate it. If you want to get your small business advertised on the show and be a proud sponsor of this show, go ahead and send me a message to huffpodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on socials at @huffpodcast. But either way, I'll start a conversation with you, and I can send you all the details, what the numbers are actually going to be, and what you get out of that, and what your options are. It's DeHuff Uncensored. You guys are amazing. I really, really appreciate you guys. Have a fantastic day. Let's continue to move forward. I'll talk to you next time.